What's going on, everybody? K to the 2 here with week 4 of the PPL Division 2 Season 3. This week, I know, is like 2 weeks late on my channel. I have been in a combination of extremely busy and extremely distracted as of late. Of course, the distracted part is not an excuse for why this match has not gotten up. However, the timing of things that have been going on just around like what's happening in my life is just not completely the best, so I'm trying to get caught up now. So hopefully when I get caught up, I can stay caught up and this whole week or two hiatus thing will go away, and then we'll get back into the swing of things, uploading a team analysis and our battle on time during the week. So pardon me for the lack of uploads lately, but that's basically what's been happening. Now, of course, this match is 2 weeks late. If you've already seen RTK's side, you know what happens. And because I am so far behind, I'm not going to be doing a team builder for this week 4 match or my week 5 match, which I have already played, and possibly not one for my week 6 match against Eric, which I have not played yet. But that's depending on how much time I have today to record and sit down and have everything done. So let's go ahead and talk about my team matchup against RTK. I felt like I had a pretty solid matchup. I looked at Double Dance Lando and was like, you know what, let's win with this. So I tried to do that. So like what I did is I made like a mini plan. I have a suicide lead fortress with rocks and spikes and all that jazz. I have a supporting Whimsicott with light screen and light clay. It doesn't get reflect for some reason, I don't know why, but it has that. I had Safeguard and Memento on it, as well as Psychic, because Psychic has his Emboar and his Hitmontop. Both are kind of a nuisance to Lando, but not really. Yeah. I forwent? That's not a word. I decided to forego the Encore on Whimsicott this week, and, you know, I don't know how I feel about it. Next up, we have a Sash 3 attacks T-Wave Abra, just because I felt like anything else on the team wouldn't have really helped too much. Manaphy is Tail Glow 3 attacks, none of them being Scald or Surf. So I have Ice Beam, Energy Ball, and Psychic, because that hit his entire team super effectively, except for Mega Gardevoir. Next up, I have a Scarf Thundy T, because I felt like I was lacking speed and I needed speed. And like immediate speed with immediate power, which Thundy T provides. And lastly, like I said, Double Dance Landorus with EQ and Rock Slide, because I didn't want to miss Stone Edge. So I went with the one that has a higher accuracy and also a chance to flinch. So like that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and get right into the match. I decided to lead Fortress, as I said, and he is going to decide to lead Excelgor. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to get at my rocks, and right off the bat I'm thinking, well, what's he gonna do? Like, HP Fire is the worst thing he can do, so I'm expecting that, but like he wouldn't go straight for it if he has it, because I do have Sturdy, and he would put me in Custap range. So I just go for my rocks, and I actually blank on the fact that it gets Encore, so like that's completely stupid of me. Should have seen that coming, but also it's kind of hard to predict exactly what kind of Excelgor that was, because based on the damage that I was given, I thought it was like a really offensive, like modest specs, modest life orb, but it wasn't life orb, so I couldn't tell exactly what it was because the damage calc must have lied to me, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to go into Whimsicott on the Excelgor, trying to get up my light screen or potentially force a switch. I saw the damage that he did with Bug Buzz, and I was like, you know what, let's just go ahead and go back into Fortress to take another Bug Buzz, potentially, and because he would have put me into Custap range at that point. However, he makes a better play and switches straight into Thundy, and if I had gone for Light Screen on the turn that he went for Incinerate, I would still have my Fortress, which would be really nice. Now I'm going to get my light screen up. He's going to go for Incinerate, and with the let's pause. With the light screen, I'm able to live with like that little bit of spit F that I have on Whimsicott, and I decide here to go for Memento and not for Safeguard, which probably kind of could have been a misplay, because if I got a Safeguard up, he wouldn't have been able to Toxic me later on, which you're going to be able to see that he's going to be able to do, and you'll see how that affects the match. But instead I click Memento as he goes for Nasty Plot, so I guess that's alright. So down goes Thundy, or down goes Thundy's special attack back to normal, and down goes Whimsicott. So now I'm like, well, let's just go ahead and try and go for the sweep. I have my light screen up. I can get off my Rock Polish for sure against this thing. So he's going to go ahead and opt to switch out and go into his Hitmontop, which I can set up all over this thing as long as it doesn't have Toxic. But of course, I've already spoiled it. He has Toxic. And I was debating whether or not to bring Lumberry or Yachi Berry on this thing. The Yachi Berry allowed me to get a free setup here, thankfully. However, it is going to cost me in getting Toxic. I decided, you know what, I have Safeguard on Whimsicott. I'm not going to need Lum. Yachi is probably more useful. However, he's going to go ahead and spin. He's going to be able to Toxic as I get to +3 because I needed that in order to kill Hitmontop. And as well as like the rest of his team, because I was only going to be at +1 and I needed to be +2 because that was the calc that I did on everything. Was +2 EQ kills everything. That was the calc that I did, except for obviously Thundy and fucking Hitmontop. So +3 was pretty nice, and down goes Hitmontop. Cool. And next up, he's going to send in his Excelgor. Now, my thoughts going into this turn, let's go ahead and wait a second. Thoughts going into this turn were, he's already shown Encore, and if he's bringing this in right now, I know he's sashed. So, I felt like his best play overall 100% was to go for Encore. Now, looking at the rest of his team, the best chance that I have at killing everything still is going for Rock Slide, getting the flinch, and killing him next turn with EQ. Or going for Rock Slide, bringing him down to the sash as he goes for Encore, and now I'm locked into Encore, and the only thing that he can bring in at that point is his Rhyperior. Now if he went into Rhyperior, then I have options against it. I could potentially get up a free setup with Manaphy if I wanted to try that. I still have my Wakanberry for the Thundurus, and just overall, it probably would have been an okay situation. However, you're going to see that we miss Rock Slide, and that's going to cost us the game. Well, our chance at winning with Landorus, at least. But as you're going to see, it costs us the game, because Rock Slide missing or Rock Slide overall was just 100% my best play. He still had Thundurus, and he had the sash with Encore, and if he locked me into EQ, he got a free Nasty Plot up. And I still probably would have been able to live with Manaphy's Wakanberry. However, it's just going to end up, he has Quick Attack and not Water Shuriken too. That was funny. But it's going to end up being a double down here, and it just, you know, I'm pretty upset that I missed a 10%, or I got a 10% chance to miss, and I actually did it on the first freaking Rock Slide that I went for. So that was sweet. And again, the following turn, I went for Rock Slide again risking the miss. But you know what? I needed the flinch. I needed that chance in order to kill him. And at this point, my best chance of winning is with Manaphy, and I need to literally freeze the Gardevoir as it comes in. But since it was a double down, I did not expect Gardevoir to come in, so I went into Thundy, and he's going to Trace Volt Absorb. That's not really going to matter. I'm going to be able to get off my Volt Switch here, because he is Mega Gardevoir. I am going to go ahead and Volt Switch. No, I'm not. I Thunderbolt, because that does more damage. And also, I might not have had Volt Switch. But he goes for Trick Room, and he's going to be able to get like 3 free kills here because of the Trick Room. Right here, I should have just sacked Thundy, gone into Abra, so I would still have my Sash. And that way I could get off a T-Wave and potentially para him and win that way. But at this point, because I had lost Thundy due to a Rock Slide miss, that basically got under my skin, and I'm going to lose this game now. Here I potentially was like, hey, he might have Thunderbolt, he might want to go for that instead of Hyper Voice. So I go into Thundy, trying to waste another turn of Trick Room. Would have worked, but he went for Hyper Voice, so it didn't work. It was also like a last-ditch effort. So right here, I know that Trick Room is going to end right here. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a Tail Glow. He's going to get off massive damage with the Hyper Voice and put me in range of dying to Thundy, so it's not going to matter at all. And like I said, my best chance of at least killing Mega Gardevoir at this point is getting a 10% freeze, and you know, like a 10% chance is like what he got when I missed Rock Slide, maybe? Doesn't happen, I go down and I lose 4-0. So that's going to be week 4 of the PPL, D2, Season 3, losing to RTK. So that, yeah, wasn't the greatest of matches, of course. I know that I need to plan better in order to not get screwed so hard by hacks, and I've been completely screwed. Not completely screwed. I've been screwed out of my chance of winning a game because I don't have enough win cons, because I'm over prepping with a single win con. And that's how I ended up losing to Ruby, and that's how I lost here to RTK. Now, against Ruby, it was just really an unfortunate turn, and it all happened on one turn. Again, here, I went for what I felt was the best play possible and didn't get rewarded for it, and instead it cost me the game. Cost me a chance of at least killing 2 more Mons, and, you know, what can you do? Pokemon's a fun game, competitive and whatnot. So we are 2-2 heading into week 5, going up against Fizz of all people, who is currently on top of the table. Well, here going into week 4, he was on top of the table, and next week we play him. So it's going to be really rough coming out of week 5 if we end up being 2-3. And I'll be completely honest with you, and I feel like I'm not the only one who thinks this. If you would have told me that the Harlem Gloomtrotters, after or going into week 5 and coming out of week 5, could potentially be 2-3, not only myself, but a lot of people would have told you you're crazy. That's just by my own standards of how I play the game and how I feel like I should be doing. And if I'm not producing the results, I'm going to be completely honest with myself and say, you know, I shouldn't be losing these games. But, you know, I didn't perform, and I got a little unlucky in 2 games, and I just didn't plan well enough for these games, and that's why I lost. Of course, the Hex was unfortunate, but 2-2 after week 4, we got to deal with it. So I put myself in this position. I need to get out of this position, and I need to start getting back to my winning ways. So that's my match against RTK. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, you probably didn't, and it's also like 2 weeks late, so like, forget hitting the like button. Go ahead and comment down below what your thoughts on the match were, and I will see you guys next time.